High on the windswept hills above the fjord, the past is never silent. Here, at Lindholm Høje, the land still carries the memory of the Viking Age, carved into stone, shaped by ritual, and preserved by the shifting sands of time. This place is one of Scandinavia's largest and best preserved Viking burial grounds. More than 1,000 years ago, families climbed these same hills to mourn, to honor, and to prepare their loved ones for the world beyond. When you walk among these stones, you are walking through a silent city of the dead. Every stone circle, every long row of rocks, marks a life once lived. Some graves are shaped like ships, long and narrow, with pointed ends, symbols of the journey the deceased would take into the afterlife. For Vikings, death was not an ending, but a departure, a voyage to the realm beyond the horizon. Here at Lindholm Høje, more than 700 graves have been found. Men, women, children, each with their own story, their own place in the fabric of this ancient community. But what did this world look like when these stones still stood fresh? When the people buried here still walked these hills? Imagine the landscape alive with sound. Goats calling from the slopes. The ringing of iron at the blacksmith's forge. The crackling of fires from longhouses scattered across the valley. Archaeology shows that Lindholm was once a thriving settlement. Farmers, craftsmen, traders. Ordinary people living ordinary lives, in a time we often imagine only through warriors and war. Most graves here show clear signs of cremation. For many Vikings, fire was the bridge between worlds. The body, wrapped carefully, placed with personal belongings, was set upon a wooden pyre. As the flames rose, the smoke was believed to carry the spirit upward, to join ancestors, or to continue the journey to Valhalla, Folkvanger, or the underworld of hell. The bones left behind were collected with reverence. Small fragments, once warm with life, were placed inside an urn or directly into the earth, and the stones were arranged to protect and honor the resting place. Look closely at the stones. Some stand upright, others lie flat. Some form ship outlines. Others mark small, simple circles. A large stone circle might belong to a respected elder. A small one to a child who never grew old enough to swing a wooden sword or tend animals in the fields below. Even without names, these stones hold identity. And in their silence, they remind us that the Viking Age was far more human, far more emotional than the legends often tell. The people who lived here were not just raiders. They were families. They grew barley and oats in the fields below. They wove clothes from wool spun by their own hands. They carved tools, repaired boats, shared food and stories and fears. From Lindholm Høje, they could see the fjord, a doorway to the world. Trade routes connected them to Norway, Sweden, the Baltic, and even far beyond. Amber from the beaches, iron from the bogs, furs from the forests. And when someone died, everything stopped. A final act of love began to prepare them for the next world. The funeral pyre burned through the night. Family members carried torches, whispered prayers, and offered gifts. Small items, sometimes weapons, sometimes jewelry, sometimes simple tools for the journey. When only embers remained, the ashes were gathered carefully, and the grave was sealed. The stones were placed not randomly, but with intention. A final mark on the earth, so the living would never forget. But Lindholm Høje did not survive by chance. For centuries, powerful winds swept across these hills. carrying sand that slowly buried the graves beneath the earth. This natural blanket of sand protected the stones, the bones, and the traces of fire, until they were uncovered again by archaeologists in the late 1800s and early 1900s. What we see today is only a fraction of what once existed. Hundreds of graves are still hidden beneath the soil, untouched, preserved by time itself. And every new excavation reveals something unexpected. A shard of pottery, a burnt bone, a rusted bead. Small fragments that help us understand who the people here truly were. Today, the wind still moves through the same grass. The view over the fjord is unchanged. Only the people are different. But the stones remain, silent guardians of a past that refuses to disappear. A reminder that even in death, the Vikings left their mark. Not in gold, not in monuments, but in the land itself. This is Lindholm Høje, and this is only the beginning of the story.